everyone, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. Last week, the Finance Ministry said that they have issued refunds to more than 39 lakh taxpayers. Are you one of them? Well, how can you check the status of your refunds and what should you do if you've not got your refund? Let's talk about this with Karan Batra, the founder and CEO of charteredclub.com. Karan, always a pleasure having you with us on The Money Show. So to start with, usually after the end of a financial year, by when can individuals expect their tax refunds?
Hi, Mubina, good evening. And you've touched a very important topic of refunds. So normally what happens is within 3-4 months, the smaller refunds are processed. Bigger refunds take time, but smaller refunds are processed within 3-4 months. However, this year is an exceptional scenario. This year, the refunds are being delayed. In most of the cases across India, the refunds are being delayed, and quite understandably because of COVID. So a lot of people now have doubts on what to do, why is it being delayed? But there's nothing to worry here. See, we first must understand how a refund is being issued. It's not a manual process anymore. It's a computerized process. So it is the computer systems of the CPC which are giving the refunds. And there's nothing much a taxpayer can do. Even under the refund banker scheme on the NSDL website, if a person mentions and files his PAN number, it only shows that the refund has not been approved. It does not tell you why it has not been approved or what to do. But again, there's nothing to worry. If the income tax department has any query, they'll send you a notice asking for the same. Till the time they don't send you any query, just stay calm.
Okay. Well, what should one do then to check the status of their refund? Because of course, we're in the midst of a pandemic. It's not so easy to walk over to the nearest ward and, have a chat with your, your ward officer, your tax officer. So how should one really check on the status?
No way, even if COVID was not there, a person cannot go to his ward officer and check. Even if a person goes there, they'll tell you that it is being processed by the CPC and they don't have the power. So in all cases, it is being processed by the CPC, which is based in Bangalore. If a person wants to check, there's the refund banker scheme. On the NSDL website, you go to the refund banker scheme, you furnish your PAN number, click the submit button, and it will tell you whether your refund has been approved or not by the officer.
What would be the, the interest, if any, that an individual should expect to get from the government in case if there's delay, and how do you calculate it?
The 6% interest is given on the refunds part, and this 6% would be applicable from 1st April. So even if a person is filing his return today in November, the interest would be given to him from 1st April 2020 onwards at the rate of 6% per annum. And frankly speaking, this 6% in most cases is better than the interest offered by fixed deposits as well. Most fixed deposits right now of banks like ICA, SBI is giving 5 to 6%.
Every product that's made here.
All right. Karan, now, what could also be possible reasons why an individual has not got their refunds? I mean, it's not always the department of the government. Perhaps you as well have made some mistakes. So, what could be the possibilities there?
Right now, it's an exceptional scenario. And there are rumors that because of COVID, the government does not have enough funds. So they've intentionally delayed the refunds. Although last week they did come out with numbers that they have issued refunds of, say, 1.29 lakh crores. But frankly speaking, people have not received the refunds. These refunds mainly pertain to FY 18-19. FY 19-20, in very few cases, refunds have been granted. So in 90% of the cases, the reason is COVID only. The government has intentionally delayed. However, in other cases, if you are, say, claiming foreign tax credits, then refunds get delayed. If the amount is big, then it gets delayed. Or your Form 26AS is saying something and you filed something, it gets delayed. Your SFT is saying something, you are claiming something, it gets delayed. So these are some of the other cases. But this year, 90% is COVID only.
Poured with wax.
What about, previous years? Karan, it's not just about this fiscal year, it's also about the previous year. Sometimes refunds are stuck even in the previous years. And now, of course, additionally, you have this entire faceless assessment process. So how can one, sort of interact with the department and sort of ask them that, what about my previous year refunds? Is there a way to do so online?
We must understand how we file for refunds. It's not a separate mechanism. It is through the ITR only that we file for a refund. So if a person can file his ITR, he can claim a refund. For past years, say for FY 18-19, a person can file the return now as well and claim a refund. However, if it is before FY 18-19, then he'll have to get the approval of the income tax officer to file the return and claim the refund. This is there. Apart from that, so practically, if I tell you, on ground, we filed several returns last month, and within 10 working days, the refunds were processed. So for FY 18-19, the government is trying their level best to issue the refunds, and 99% of the refunds have been processed. If somebody's return has not been processed or the refund has not been processed, what they should do is they should go on the log into the income tax portal. There is e-Nirvan. On the e-Nirvan, just go and file and just mention that this is your return, this is the acknowledgement number. It has not been processed. Please look into it. So they'll look into it and they'll revert back.
Okay, great. I hope this has given some guidance to our viewers as well on how they can go about if they've still not got their refunds. For the most of you, you just have to be a bit patient. You will get it. Don't worry about that. Karan, we are completely out of time. We've got quite a few questions as well for you, but unfortunately, we are not going to be able to take that. So we'll let you go on that note. Thanks so much for joining in. It's as always a pleasure, talking to you, on taxation.